Okay, we're going to start the mise en place for the chocolate tempering. First thing I'm going to do is take one of the pieces of parchment that I gave you in your chocolate bag, and I'm going to cut it in half. So I have the parchment and I have a chef's knife, and I'm going to cut this in half. Okay. One half I'm going to reserve for later, and one half I'm going to cut up into smaller squares that I can use for testing the temper. So I'm going to take half of the parchment and cut it in half again. I'm going to take those two halves, fold them, and cut them in half again. So now I have 4 pieces. I'm going to fold this into thirds. So I'll fold 1/3 over the top and cut that. And take the 2/3, fold that in half. I'm trying to my best to keep this on screen here. So now I have a stack of strips. It'll be hard to cut them all at the same time, so I'm going to divide them. And these strips I'm going to again fold into 3. I am trying to keep everything on the video here. Okay, 1/3. Fold the remaining. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with the remaining strips here. I'm going to fold them into 3. It's nice if they're approximately the same size, but you don't have to worry too much if you're not getting them. I now have a stack of plenty of squares. It's going to be about 36 squares that are ready to use for checking the temper. Okay, now I'm back with finishing the mise en place for the tempering. So we're going to need that other half of the parchment sheet that we used. We have the uncut parchment, or the parchment that was the remaining half, and we have our squares. Very important. Set those aside. We need thermometer. So your thermometer that you have from class, your digital thermometer, is going to be perfect. You will see me in the tempering demo using an infrared thermometer, which is really fast and clean for chocolate, but not necessary. It's going to help me in this demo to take the temperature quickly so that I'm able to film it. But using your thermometer is going to be just fine, but you have to have a thermometer. I have some chocolate. I'm wanting you to do some chocolate, a relatively small amount, so that you have plenty of remaining chocolate to practice your tempering. So what I have here is I have 300 grams of chocolate of the couverture. So you can see I have, this is the bowl that I'll be melting the chocolate in. And because I'm going to be using the seeding method, I am going to set aside 1/3 of the chocolate to seed. Remember that the chocolate comes in temper, so this chocolate is filled with good crystals. So I have 2/3 in this bowl and 1/3 that I'm not going to melt in this bowl. And I have a double boiler with the water well away from the chocolate. This is what I'm going to melt the chocolate in. I have a rubber spatula, a clean, dry rubber spatula, and a towel. That's going to be very important because when we melt the chocolate, there is going to be some condensation on the bottom of the bowl, and we never ever want water to come into contact with chocolate. It can cause it to seize. So this is the mise en place that you will need to proceed with the tempering.